I'm about to kill myself, and I just want my family to know where to find me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this situation gets crazier and crazier every time I read something about it. I know that you guys saw the first two videos I made, which was the video of the pastor and his wife, Mica Miller, who's now passed away. She committed suicide according to police reports. But the first video was about the suspicious way in which he advised the church. People thought that he may have done it. The second video was about how the evidence revealed that he couldn't have done it physically. He wasn't there. She had cameras, video, audio from 911 calls that indicated that she was responsible for taking her own life. However, this video goes a little deeper because there seems to be a few more onion peels to go through that could indicate something a lot more sinister that may not have anything to do with him directly killing his wife, his ex-wife, or whatever you want to call it. They weren't officially divorced. But it's a pattern of behavior and complaints that have gone on that are incredibly suspicious, that even if he didn't do it, he may have had something to do with what led her to taking her own life. This video is brought to you by can'tfold.com, can'tfold.com. I'm gonna put the link in the description section. It's my homeboys, the Cartier family. They got some incredible merch. I got one of their shirts about God. It says, I think, property of God or God's property or something like that on the front. It's got a really good image on the back. I can't really show it. But go to their website, man. It's a great quality shirt. And how do I know that it's a great quality shirt? Because we make it right here in Scottsdale, Arizona at the headquarters. But they have a whole bunch of really good designs, and it's really good merch. Y'all go check it out, man. I'm telling you, I can vouch for the quality of the shirt. And they're good guys anyway, so go support them. Buy from their store, can'tfold.com, the Cartier family. I'll link them in the description section. Like and subscribe to the channel. Y'all already know what to do. Let's get it in. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to get into. Mica Miller, who was the wife of the pastor that went viral because he came out and said that his wife had taken her life. He did it in a very mysterious, weird way that no rational person, in my opinion, would have done it that way. But he seems to be exonerated given the fact that they did some research. The police did an investigation, not just research, but they did an investigation, found that his vehicle was traveling in South Carolina. She had done this in North Carolina. At the time of the incident, he wasn't there. He had an alibi. He had witnesses. They have video of her by herself, calling on the phone, making a complaint, all of the above. So one would think that he was out of the weeds and he probably didn't have nothing to do with it. He can go on with his life until this news outlet interviewed some people and got a lot more of the story that I think you guys want to hear and that I need to share with you. According to Fitz News, which is an independent, unapologetic news organization, and the person, Jen Wood, wrote this article, incredible article. I'm going to link the article below so you can read the whole thing. They went through and interviewed family members, friends, and looked at police reports. And this is real investigative journalism. And they found some stuff that will blow your doggone mind. Now, you could just look at a pastor and tell he's a fraud. But here are a few things that I think is very, very telling. And since I read through this thing a little bit earlier, I don't have all of it chronologically in order. But what I can say is that I could pick a couple pieces for us to go through. The first thing is that he was married before. So he was married, and this is pretty much what this part says. It says that Mica, that she met her husband, the pastor, who's known as PJP to the growing organization or the growing congregation in his ministry, and that she was only 10 when he met her. It's like mind-blowing to me. This man was 25. He had a 10-year-old girl that was presently at his church. He ends up marrying that 10-year-old girl. Meaning when she got older, he ended up marrying that 10-year-old that he knew. That's got to be insane to me. Anyway, we'll go through it. But what Mica was saying to her friends and everything, that she was only 10 when she met the pastor. The pastor was 25 and he was already married to another woman. And then they got a divorce. And to me, this is the first sign that a pastor should step down and probably not be in ministry if they are getting a divorce. Unless it was adultery or something of that nature that occurred, you cannot get a divorce according to the Bible. And if a man is having marital problems, is he getting divorced, I think he needs to step down and let another person pastor the church that's lining up to what God has called us to do. The divorce was finalized in 2015, and he got married in 2017 to Mica, who was 23 at that point in time. Here's another thing that went on that I thought was incredible, and I'm trying to find it so you guys know, so you don't think I made it up. But there was a particular situation where he had to tell the board that he was separating from his wife, and he admitted that he was texting a daughter of another family that goes to the church, and in the separation between him and his wife, that they agreed to see other people. That's not appropriate in being a pastor. That's not okay. And then here's a lot of other stuff that went on. It's hard to compartmentalize because there's so much material here. This is when it get kind of weird, right? After they had separated, after he had told the church what he had to tell the church, a few people were getting weirded out at the sermons that he was making on Sunday mornings, and some of them left the church. They reached out to her, and she told them the truth of what she believed happened, right? This is allegedly. And she said that although he would preach on a Sunday morning about pornography, he had a sex addiction himself, requiring her to have sex 3 to 5 times a day. And at night when she wouldn't comply, he would blare loud music in her ear and throw water on her face to keep her up. Then, if you go down here, it gets even crazier. Some of the acts that she said he was trying to dehumanize her, several of these methods, which can only be described as humiliating to a reserved wife, allegedly involved animals, homeless men, and sex toys. Now, this is accusations. But I tell you what, when there's smoke, there's fire. And nobody would go this far to accuse you if you ain't doing nothing wrong. So then she goes on and she mentions this to a lot of her friends. There are case reports here of her filing. Let's see, which one was this one? There was a case report filed against the pastor for illegally using funds, meaning that people donated funds for a certain purpose. He took it and put it in his own personal bank account, according to the complainant. And the case report is right here. You can click on it. I will say this, the police officers on this department don't know how to write case reports. They are not thorough whatsoever. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You click on this case report, you look at it, they go through, they put the material in there, and here's the narrative. This narrative is nowhere near expansive enough to articulate what has happened and who is doing what. Because it doesn't say anybody's name here. It doesn't even say that she's accusing the pastor. It doesn't even have the pastor's name. It doesn't have any of these things. It has no investigation or interview from anybody else. There's no information here. And it kind of bothers me as a former police officer because we're taught to write better case reports than this. All right, then you go down and there's information that she's given to friends and family members that she's afraid for her life. She feels like the guy is never going to let her go. She quoted in here a few times where he's out to get her. Listen, she even said this. Mica said during a late night call with one of her friends that he's going to say that I killed myself, tell the whole church, every sermon, every opportunity he gets, and tell them that I'm mentally ill. I mean, she's pretty much projecting a lot of the stuff that he did. She said a whole bunch of other stuff she's accused him of. Also, he committed her to the hospital for mental illness, which all of this could be her being mentally ill, or it could be this guy is a real dirtbag. Looking at this stuff, I'm kind of leaning more towards this guy may have done these things. So anyway, long story short, there's multiple case reports that she filed. Tracking devices found on her car, which is a case report right here. Like I said, the case reports written on these are terrible. She finds a tracking device on her car, and this is all the narrative say. On this date and time at approximately 10:33 hours, that I guess this particular police officer was dispatched to 2323 in reference of a suspicious call. It says when they arrived on the scene, the complainant met with the responding officer in her apartment, and the apartment number is there. The complainant advised she had found a tracking device located on her vehicle in this date. The tracking device will be collected for evidence. That's not enough narrative. You need to be able to articulate very clearly who's the person who's making the accusation. Who is the complainant? The complainant is making a claim that she found a tracking device where on her car? On the roof, in the trunk, underneath the door panel, underneath, where she says she found this tracking device. What does the tracking device look like? Is it a large tracking device? Is it a small tracking device? What is the brand of the tracking device? Like, as a police officer, when you do an initial investigation, you want to have all of this information. So when they call you to court to go back and recall, if this turns into something bigger, you at least have some information. And then when somebody else reads your case report, they can say, okay, yeah, we got another call, the same brand, the same size, located in the same area. She believes it's her husband. Here's why she believed it was her husband. I mean, I don't know. It just, to me, it's laziness. And that just leads to poor investigations and nobody getting anywhere. She discovered another tracking device. She made another police report. I don't want to bore you guys, but I can go through and show her a police report, and it was pointless. And then it says make a file for a legal separation the next day. Here's the report for that as well. Apparently, or it says a previous report of John, the pastor, was served with the divorce papers on April the 25th, 2024, which was 2 days before her death. Now, there's no evidence specifically that he did it. He wasn't in the same city, but it wouldn't be shocking if this person wasn't perpetually going after her, harassing her. One report in the thing that he slid her tires. He's threatening her. She feel like her life is over. She didn't potentially have sex with animals and homeless men, and she's significantly younger than this guy. Her whole family and friends and connections with people are tied to this man at the church. She knows that if all he has to do, he has the platform, he could just say she's crazy and she'll never recover from it. Those things can push people over the edge. In the last video, she did go to a store. She did buy guns. She did tell police she was going to off herself, and she went to a park and she did it. Maybe it was something he said. Maybe he encouraged her to do it. We don't know yet. He didn't physically do it. But there's a lot of signs and symptoms that this man could have been a real creepy, evil individual. Am I saying that he is? I don't know if he is. But the signs and symptoms in the police reports and all the things that are going on, the way he advised that his wife had lost her life, the fact that he knew her when she was 10, he ended up marrying her, the fact that he admitted when him and his wife separated that he was going to, that he had been texting somebody else's daughter. I mean, all of the above. And she allegedly found information of mismanaging funds at the church and all these different things. And she was going to reveal it before she got petitioned to the mental health facility, in which case he took and destroyed all the evidence according to her. So I know it was a bunch of stuff jumbled all the way around. I mean, go read the article. It's a great article written. It would have been good if I just read it from top to bottom. It's almost impossible for me to do that. Maybe I should have highlighted certain key areas. There's so much in it that it was kind of hard for me to do it and not make it a 40-minute video. But anyway, comment in the comment section. I'm going to keep up with this because it's very intriguing and interesting to me on, is it possible that this man, and he was released from the church, is it possible that this man could have been a predator? Could have been, grooming and coercing her and making her a sex slave and driving her crazy. She loses her mind as a young girl who's manipulated and brainwashed, and then she ended up killing herself as a result of that. Or she's just a crazy woman and she's making all this stuff up, putting tracking devices on her own car and doing stuff like that. That's why the police officers have to do a better investigation. Because if she can't give consistent information, you have to write down, she was inconsistent in the information she gave me. She didn't remember where she put the tracking device. And every tracking device looked the same. Every tracking device can be bought on Amazon. She said whatever. I saw a receipt that said she bought a tracking device before. I saw a search on her phone that said you got to do some investigation to get to the bottom of things, where they're not just, I went there, she said she had a tracking device, we'll collect the tracking device for evidence. Did you dust for fingerprints? Okay. I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out.